I'm going to show you how to hang a piece of sheetrock by yourself. If you're doing it by yourself, you just do it like this. This is how I do it. Grab it like this with your fingers. Get it where you need it. I put it on my foot like this. And I get under it. And I set it. And I start at the bottom instead of starting at the top. I start at the bottom. They have another alternative, and I can show you at the end of this video, but there's these little things that you can hammer on the studs and you lift the sheetrock up and set it on there. And I do have some of those, but since this is a 10-foot ceiling and I'm doing this by myself, I'm starting from the bottom and working my way up, and I'm going to do the extra work that I have to do at the top. Usually the extra work gets covered by the baseboards, but not in this case. It's too much work for me to try to do all that by myself, so this is how I'm doing it. You're going to put it in place like this, and this looks good. I needed to think about, because of the way this wall is and there's no stud until over here, and this comes in the middle, so I'm either going to have to cut it back to here or cut it back to here so that I don't have a seam that lines up. But this seam is really flat, and I really like this seam, so I feel okay in this situation. I'm going to go ahead and do a double seam here and have them butt up together. You can judge me if you want to. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to screw it in. Here's the seam right here, and you're on my chair, so I'm gonna have to pause you for a minute. I've got that scored now, and what I'm going to do is I'm now going to slide it out. You break that once you score it, and then score it on the back side. Do the same thing again. Stud finder if you need to. I've got a pretty good eye, but you can use a stud finder. Now I'm going to go through and put screws in all these. This is a clean edge. Make sure it's a clean edge. So, like that. Where I messed up, and take a couple of those things in consideration when you're doing this. Have your stool and your screws ready, okay? But other than that, if you don't have to do a seam like this, don't do one. In my case, it would have been a loss of almost half a sheet of sheetrock, so I'm doing it this way, and I'm going to have 2 pieces or 4 pieces on this wall with 1 seam here and 1 seam here. Easy mudding. Alrighty then, you're in the right place for the example. I'm going to hang this piece of sheetrock up here with the example. There's these little things like this. They look like little shoes or little, you know, whatever. And they're used for 2 different things. One, these little clips you hammer it onto the stud like this, and you hammer it on, and then you set the sheetrock down on it. And then at the bottom, if you set the sheetrock on the bottom on an 8-foot ceiling, you got 2 sheets halfway, or 4 foot and 4 foot is 8 foot. There'll be a little bit left at the bottom. And you want to start at the top, hang your sheetrock from the top, and then your second piece will be on the ground, and you'll need to push it up a little bit. So you set this on there, and you step your foot on it, and it raises the sheetrock up. So anyway, I'm going to hang the sheetrock right here. And right here. Okay, and then you get your screws and tap, 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 tap. Okay, and this will hold a full sheet. And that little horseshoe trick. Okay, so here's the horseshoe trick. I'm going to take this piece. Let's say I'm using these already. I'm going to set this on the ground, this little deal. And let's say there's a piece of sheetrock on the ground. And there's another piece of sheetrock right here, and we need to raise it up just like a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch or whatever, 2 inches right here. That tool just raised the sheetrock up. See? Sorry, it's kind of dark, but there you go. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.